Well, welcome back to the channel. This is part two in our series of designing a bar cabinet using Fusion 360. In this episode, we're going to create a separate model from the cabinet itself that will become a universal tool for creating a drawer box of any size and with any attributes. We will then use this model to create the drawers that go into our cabinet. So with that introduction, let's move over to Fusion 360 and get started creating our drawer box model. Okay, so here we are back in Fusion. This should look familiar. This is our cabinet box that we created in the first episode. I did do a little of offline cleanup here to the parameter file, and let me just show you what I've done here. I haven't really changed anything in here in terms of the parameters themselves, but I did add comments. So I put a comment on each one of the parameters that we created that is a little more descriptive than just this name in terms of what it does and where I need to be specific, like this drawer box runner offset that we created. Somebody look at that name and wonder, well, what is that? Well, it's from Salice, and it's the required space between the drawer box side on the inside face to the side of the cabinet. So I added all those, and I've actually exported this and posted it. I put a link to it down in the description. So if you wanted to download this set of parameters, you can do that. So we're going to use this set to import into a new design that we're going to create that will be a universal drawer box creation model. And here's a little pro tip how we're going to do that. Up here at the top, if you look, we've got the ability to import and export parameters. So let's do that now. I want to export all these parameters. You just click on that. Exported parameters. Let's give that a little bit different name. So this would be the bar cabinet. Exported. P file. Episode. From episode 1. How about that? And we're going to put it in this folder right down here. We'll save that, and we'll open up that folder. There it is. There's our CSV file. If we open that, let's see, the best thing here would probably be open that for viewing with, I don't know, how about text edit? Well, there we are. There's our parameter file. Probably be a little bit easier to see in a spreadsheet. But it's there. So now I want to go back to Fusion. Let's close this. And I want to create a new project over here for doing our universal drawer box modeling system. So we want to file new design, and let's create a component, and let's call it drawer box. And we can save that. Control or Command S on the keyboard, and we'll give this a name. And it's gone out to our Fusion 360 cloud in the sky and saved it there. So we don't need the data panel any longer. And we're working in the drawer box here. You can see we've got tabs at the top. There's our cabinet. Here's our drawer box. So let's open the parameters here, and you can see we don't have any at this point, so let's import that one that we just exported. So select from my computer, there it is right there in the parameter files, and there they are. How about that? Bingo. Import. So there it is. So we've recreated that parameter file in a new design. There's only some things, a few things here that we need, so let's get this sorted again. I just want all these drawer box specific things here. So let's highlight those, and there's the trash icon, so we're going to delete those, and we're going to delete these last ones here as well. So now we've got the start of some things we're going to be adding to this parameter file as we go along, but at least we copied some of the dimensions from our bar cabinet over into this drawer box file as a start. So we'll say OK here. And let's get started making a drawer box. So let's begin by creating a sketch that will represent the drawer box as we look at it from the top down into the drawer box. So create sketch, we're going to do it on this plane right here. And like we did before, let's put a center point rectangle in here to sort of represent the outside of the box. So there we are. And we have some parameters that we imported that could be useful here. Let's use these as a start. So we know that this dimension here, D for dimension, this is the drawer box width. And this dimension over here is the drawer box depth. So that's the outside perimeter of our drawer box. We can use the offset tool now, again, right here. It's under the modify tab. So we're going to offset, and we're going to offset this, and we're going to go in a distance. And the distance here is our drawer box side thickness. There we go. So now we have essentially the outside rim of the drawer box and that sort of thing defined. We're going to close this sketch now, and let me zoom back out. So we'll give that a name. Drawer box profile. Let's call it the drawer box bottom profile. How about that? All right, so I know that the drawer box company that I use, they make nice dovetails here at the corners. We can maybe add that details later, but for now I want to just create two sides, a front and a back panel, and a drawer box bottom. And to do that, I'm going to create another sketch, and I want to sketch right on top of this one, where we can pick up these perimeter lines using the project tool and create, we'll start with the sides. So here we go, sketch, same one. We're going to P for project. Let's project the outside, the inside faces here. We're going to do the sides first, so we'll get those. And we'll say OK. We can turn off the original sketch now. And as you know, I like to convert those to construction lines. So I know from that my drawer box sides are based on how the company makes the drawer boxes. The sides are about 1/8 of an inch lower than the front and the back. We can get into that details by looking at their website if you'd like, but let's just create the side now. So we're going to do a rectangle, and we're going to pick up this corner, and we'll come down over here. And I escaped out of that. I want to make this corner coincident with that, so we'll use our coincident tool there to there. And we also know that the outside of the drawer box side is coplanar with that. So let's use our coplanar tool there. There we are. Now we could do the same thing over here, but let's just do a mirror. So we need some lines to do that. So L for line, we're going to make a construction line, and we're going to go from this point to this point, and we're going to go from this point to this point. We're also going to put a center line in here so we can mirror that across. I didn't go into this in detail earlier, but if you hover over this line and drag along approximately the center, you see that little blue triangle appear? That's the center mark. So if you click there, you'll pick up the center of that line. And notice how that little blue center mark corresponds to this constraint up here called midpoint. So we'll pick that up. We can come down here and pick up the same center point on the bottom line. Now we have a construction line halfway across the width of the box. I'm going to escape out of that. The next thing we're going to do is mirror this component across to the other side. So let's just swipe over the features that we want. And here's our mirror command. We've got 11 things selected. It looks like we picked up the line up there at the top, or the point up there at the top. We've got at least those 4 lines, the 4 constraints, and the endpoints. So our mirror line is right here, and there's our other side. So now we can create the front and the back. So let's just do that on the same one here. So we're going to use the rectangle tool again. We'll pick up this corner and come over, and you notice it's trying to do construction. I don't want construction, so we can click over here, turn that off, and we'll just place it there for now. We can use the coincident to make this corner coincident. Whoops. Let's use it. Coincident. This corner coincident with that corner. So there's the back, and well, let's just do the same thing again. Let's create a construction line across the center here from side to side, from there to there. And now we can escape out of that, pick up those features, and we can do a mirror again. And we picked up 22 features, and there's our mirror line, and there's the front. So there's our front, back, and side profiles for extruding this into a drawer box. Let's finish this sketch and save it, and we'll call this drawer side, front, and back profiles. Now we could use those to extrude up the sides of the box. Do we have anything here in our parameters about how tall it is? Not really. We don't at all. So let's create some additional parameters here to kind of define the height of this drawer box. So plus there, drawer underscore height. And my drawer box company likes to talk in inches, so we'll use an inch thing here. Let's just start with a 6-inch tall drawer box. How about that? So we got that parameter. Let's start by extruding the E for extrude. We're going to extrude the front and the back profile, and we're going to go up a distance of D for drawer, drawer box, drawer height. There we go. So there's our drawers, drawer front and back, and we can do the same thing with the sides. Let's turn that sketch back on. So E for extrude. Oh, this is probably a good time to show you what happened here. We didn't specify to make a component when we did those extrudes. So we got bodies here. Body 1 and 2, and you can't really edit. You can edit the feature here, but the one thing it won't let you do is create a component here. We forgot to do that when we did that extrude. So here's how we convert these into components. So let's just highlight those two, and say right click and create components for bodies. So we got 2 components here. This is the front, and this is the back. All right, so we've still got that sketch turned on. Let's extrude the sides now. E for extrude, and we're going to pick that profile, and this one over here. And now we're going to get a little fancy. First, we want to say we want to do a component. And I said that the drawer box manufacturer puts the sides 1/8 of an inch lower than the front and the back. So instead of going a distance, let's say we're going to extrude that those side components to an object. And the object we're going to extrude to is the top surface of that, and you can see it did that. Now we can put in an offset here to change how that relates to the picked object. And we're going to do about 0.125 inches. And if you look, it's done that, but it's made it taller rather than shorter. So we could put a minus sign in front of that. So now our sides are a little bit less tall, and we're creating a new component. So there we are. So let's open our parameters again and add a few here. So let's first define the drawer box bottom thickness. Drawer bottom thickness. And we're going to make that 1/2 inch, 0.5. And let's do the drawer box, the drawer bottom offset. And that is also going to be 1/2 inch. There we go. And I know it's let in on all 4 sides of the drawer box perimeter. And I just happen to know that my drawer box company does that at about 1/4 inch. So let's make a parameter for that. Drawer bottom groove dado. And we'll make that 0.25 inches. So there we go. So we got our parameters. What we need next is a construction plane to draw the drawer box bottom on. And I like to do that on a construction plane rather than on the geometry here. So let's create a new construction plane, an offset plane from the bottom of the drawer box rim. And we're going to go up with it. And the distance we're going to go up is that drawer bottom offset of 1/2 inch. So now we have a construction plane here that represents the surface of the bottom of the drawer box bottom panel. And we can use that to create our sketch for the drawer box bottom panel itself. So let's turn off this sketch for the sides and the front and turn on our original sketch for the parameters. Let's turn off these components so that we just see the construction plane and that sketch below it. You can see that that sketch is that offset distance below. So now we're going to create a sketch on that plane, and we're going to project the inside face of the drawer box rim. So P for project, and we'll just pick up that line, that one, and that one. And we'll say, okay, now we can turn off the original drawer box bottom profile sketch. And that's our, that's the inside of the drawer box. Let's convert that to construction geometry again, swipe over. Now we can use the offset tool to expand that right here. It's under modify, offset. So let's take this and we're going to go out with it. And we're going to go out the drawer bottom groove depth. How about that? Oops. Let's try that again. Drawer bottom groove dado. There. Now it's trying to move that inward. I want it to move outward. So let's go to the beginning of this and put a minus sign in front of that. Okay, now we've just grown the perimeter of that drawer box bottom by the 1/4 inch. There it is. And now we can extrude this. And we're going to go a distance of the drawer box thickness. Drawer bottom thickness right there. So there's our bottom panel. We're going to create a new component for that. Say OK. And there is our drawer bottom. Let's turn on our back and sides in the front. We can use our inspect tool again for a section analysis, and let's come in from the side. And if you look, there's our drawer box bottom, and it's inset, and it's been let into the front and the back, and it's been let into the sides as well. I can show you that here. You can see it there and over here. So now I'm going to turn the component coloring back on again. I'm getting kind of distracted with that cherry veneer face. So let's go to display component colors. There we go. So now we can see the components a little clearer for manipulation. So like we did back in the on the back panel of the cabinet, we can use this bottom panel as a tool to cut the groove or dado in all four of those sides. So remember, we use the combine tool for that. So let's do that now. Here's our combine tool. It's down under modify, combine. Okay, so the target body is what's going to receive the groove. Let's select the back panel for now. And we want to use the bottom panel itself as the cutting tool. We want to specify cut operation, and we do want to keep the tool because we don't want the bottom panel to disappear as part of this. So let's just say OK. Now it's probably put the groove in there. We can verify that before we go on. Inspect, section analysis. We'll come in from this side. There we are. You can see we've got a groove in the back, but we don't have one in the front yet. We didn't put any in the side. So let's do those. So just like before, a swipe up will get us to the section analysis. That's not what I wanted. Let's use the combine tool again. We've got the saved selections here of cut and keep tools. So we're going to cut into that side using the bottom panel. Now we can swipe up. Oh, sorry. Let's do it this way. We're going to do the front next using the bottom panel. And we can do the side using the bottom panel. And now let's turn off the bottom. And you can see the grooves all the way around. So let's do a little housekeeping over here. This construction plane that we created was the bottom surface of bottom panel. And this sketch was the bottom panel profile. Okay, good. Now, good practice here would be to save. So Command or Control S on the keyboard, user save. And I think the next thing we want to do is put this thing together as an assembly so that all these components are rigidly connected to each other and they don't do things like this. So I'm going to revert that position. We're going to assemble a rigid group, and we're going to assemble these four components into a rigid group. Now I want to show you that that joint ended up as a feature in the browser over here. It's called Rigid Group 1. I like to rename these because ultimately we're going to have a lot of joints in this project, and I want to know what they are. So this is the drawer bottom to sides, front, back, rigid group. So we've got that named. You know, like everything else, we can turn that on and off with this little eyeball here. Now let's turn that off. And I want to put some other features on here. I know that my drawer box manufacturer does, well, I specify that I want rounded edges on some of these pieces. So it's a fillet operation that we're going to do here. We're going to fillet this, let's try that again. We're going to fillet this edge of the back panel, the inside edge of the front panel, the inside edges of the sides, and the outside edges of the sides. And the amount of fillet that he uses is 3/32 of an inch. So let's see if we can specify that here, 3/32 inch. Does that get us something? Let's see. Did we get a, yeah. We got a nice eased edge all the way around on those points. And we've got a feature in the timeline here. If we wanted to edit that and make it something different, we could do that. Okay, so the next operation I want to do is to put the notches in the back component for the drawer runner. Remember, we're using undermount slides here, and those runner components require a notch in the back. I think we should define a parameter about the width of the notch. So let's just add that here, notch width. And my cabinet or box manufacturer usually makes it 2 inches. I can specify anything I want, but their default is 2, so let's just use that. Now we can do some sketching to create the notches. So let's make an offset plane on the bottom of the back of the box right there. And just so we know what it is, there it is. We can sketch on that now. And let's project some of the geometry. So we're going to project the back component and the 2 sides. And if we turn off our components over here, you can see there's our construction geometry that was projected. And as I like to do, let's convert that into construction geometry rather than hard lines. Now let's put in our notches, which we'll represent with rectangles again. There's one, there's another. And we'll use the constraint tool to align some things so we know that this part of the notch is collinear with the inside face of the back, and this face is collinear with the outside face of the back, and this side over here is collinear with the inside face of the side of the box. The same thing is true over here, so I'll just click through that. And then we will dimension this, the width of the notch width 2 inches, and we'll do the same thing over here. We'll pick that up. So there we go. Now we've got our profiles to create the notches. Let's turn the back on. Now we have a construction plane here that represents the bottom surface of the bottom panel. So let's turn that on because we're going to use that as a reference. And the next thing we're going to do is an extrude, and we're going to pick up these 2 profiles. And we're not going to extrude to a distance, we're going to extrude to an object, and the object is this construction plane. And it's not going to be a new body, it's going to be a cut operation. There we go, and there's our notches. So let's do a little housekeeping here. This construction plane is the bottom of the box rim, and this sketch is notch profiles. And we can turn our other components back on, turn that off. So that's our completed drawer box, and we can use this to import into our cabinet assembly. Okay, so let's save this now. Control or Command S on the keyboard. User save. There we go. We can clean this up a little bit. We don't need to see the sketches, but there we are. And one final save. And we're going to consider that box complete. Of course, it's got dovetails in it, and I'm not going to bother to put those in here. I'll do a separate video on that because it's a little bit time consuming and tedious, but we have a universal drawer box generator model now that we can come in and change various parameters about height, width, all that sort of thing, and make any size drawer box that we want from this model. So that's the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. Again, I'd like if you have comments or questions, even if it's just hi Dave, put that in the comment section. Hit the like or dislike button and subscribe if you care to subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.